When Lil Jeff was tragically shot during a drill in Chicago, all eyes turned to his mother, who raised him alone in one of the city's most dangerous neighborhoods. Months after his death, the investigation has taken an unexpected turn, with his mother revealing some shocking details. Who exactly is Lil Jeff's mother? And did she play a role in his untimely death? Let's uncover the truth in this video. The shocking revelation in a drama that has captivated the nation. The shocking revelations made by Lil Jeff's mother have left everyone in disbelief. Known as Bloodhound Lil Jeff, his name has become synonymous with terror and violence, with allegations of his involvement in multiple gang-related murders. But what has truly stunned the public is the role his mother played in his life of crime. Rather than steering him away from a life of crime, she seemed to encourage it, cheering him on as he terrorized the city. Her support, whether out of misguided love or a desire for notoriety, played a crucial role in his descent into violence. One leaked chat between Lil Jeff and his mother showed her expressing her pride in violent actions. Lil Jeff, born Jeffrey Thompson, grew up in the gritty streets of Chicago, a city known for its vibrant culture, but also its notorious gang violence. From a young age, Jeff was exposed to the harsh realities of his environment. The neighborhood he called home was a battleground where the sound of gunfire was as common as the laughter of children playing in the streets. It was a place where survival often meant choosing sides, and for Jeff, the allure of the gang lifestyle was irresistible. But Lil Jeff wasn't always destined for a life of crime. In fact, during his high school years, he was a promising basketball player determined to make it to college and eventually pursue a career in professional basketball. His sophomore year was filled with success, including a couple of tournament victories. However, his dreams began to unravel the following year when he didn't make his high school's varsity team.
Play basketball, but that's when I ain't make the varsity team. So at 16 was when I was realizing it for real. I don't know what to.
After this setback, Jeff seemed to turn to the streets, following in his older brother's footsteps and immersing himself in the world of gangs. As Lil Jeff's reputation grew, so did the list of crimes he was accused of. Committing the most chilling allegations were his involvement in the murders of Monty and Lil Rob, two names that echoed through the streets of Chicago. Monty and Lil Rob were well-known figures in the local scene, and their deaths were a significant blow to their families and friends. The circumstances surrounding their murders were shrouded in mystery, but whispers on the streets pointed to Lil Jeff as the mastermind behind the killing. It was rumored that the motive stemmed from a personal vendetta fueled by a dispute over stolen watches. This theory would later surface in the lyrics of his song, A, where Lil Jeff rapped about the hit with lines like "Them did what they did and had to pay the consequence." He further rapped, "You would think it'd be if I told you about what I did." The song seemed to blur the lines between reality and fiction, leaving listeners to wonder how much of it was based on true events. The chilling admission in the lyrics, combined with the eyewitness accounts and surveillance footage, created a web of evidence that was hard to ignore. Lil Jeff and his team posted themselves on IG Live, basically taking credit for the murder of Monty and Lil Rob. The video was posted about 16 minutes after the hit. The evidence against Lil Jeff continued to mount. Witnesses confirmed seeing him and his crew at the scene of the crime wearing distinctive gear that matched descriptions provided to the police. Additionally, the vehicle they used was identified, serving as another crucial link to the murders. Lil Jeff was also allegedly involved in 11 murders, supported by his own admission in his song The Gang Drills. A series of brutal initiations were said to be his proving ground, where he demonstrated his loyalty and ruthlessness. As the investigation into the murders of Monty and Lil Rob progressed, two members of Lil Jeff's gang, Bloodhound Slick and Bloodhound JMO, were eventually charged with their deaths. The arrest marked a significant development in the case, as both men had close ties to Lil Jeff and were deeply involved in the gang's operations. The arrest of Bloodhound Slick and Bloodhound J marked a significant breakthrough in the case. Slick, known for his ruthless reputation, was the first to be charged, followed by J, whose ties to the victims added a chilling layer to the narrative. J, Mo's attendant at the same high school as Lil Rob and Monty, raised questions about the influence of gang affiliations on young lives and the tragic consequences that often follow. The investigation into the murders of Lil Rob and Monty was a complex and challenging process, marked by a relentless pursuit of justice. Amidst a backdrop of fear and silence, from the outset law enforcement faced significant obstacles as the code of silence within gang communities often hindered the flow of crucial information. However, the determination of the investigators, coupled with community support, eventually led to a breakthrough in the case. The initial stages of the investigation were focused on gathering evidence from the crime scene and interviewing potential witnesses. As the investigation progressed, the focus shifted to Lil Jeff's gang. Investigators believed that the murders of Lil Rob and Monty were linked to the ongoing rivalry between two Chicago gangs. This theory was supported by intelligence gathered from informants and surveillance operations, which pointed to the involvement of Bloodhound Slick and Bloodhound J. Bloodhound Slick, a prominent figure within the gang, was known for his violent reputation and close ties to Lil Jeff. His name had surfaced early in the investigation, but concrete evidence was needed to secure an arrest. Investigators worked tirelessly to build a case against him, utilizing a combination of forensic evidence, witness statements, and intelligence reports. The arrest of Bloodhound Slick marked a significant turning point in the investigation. After up to a year of painstaking efforts, however, the case was far from over as investigators continued to pursue leads that would implicate other members of the crew. Bloodhound J, another key figure in the investigation, was known for his connections to both the victims and the gang. His attendance at the same high school as Lil Rob and Monty made the case even more complicated as investigators sought to understand the dynamics at play within the school environment. The arrest of J was the result of a coordinated effort between law enforcement and community members who were determined to see justice served. Throughout the investigation, law enforcement faced numerous challenges, including threats and intimidation from gang members who sought to derail the process. However, the arrest of these two affiliates of Lil Jeff made one thing clear: Lil Jeff may not have been bluffing when he bragged about the murders of Lil Rob and Monty in his song, and he was indeed a person of interest in the case. It left people wondering how such a talented young man got involved in such violence. Well, it all starts with his background. While he enjoyed the thrill of notoriety, for a while his love for violence would eventually cost him his life. Lil Jeff gets killed in Chicago drill. The day Lil Jeff was killed felt heavy from the start, with a tension that was hard to shake. It was just another day in the rough streets of Chicago, where rivalries ran deep and violence was always lurking. Lil Jeff got caught up in another heated confrontation with a rival gang. What started as a typical back and forth quickly escalated into something much more dangerous. Shots rang out, sending people running for cover. In the middle of it all, Lil Jeff's instinct for survival took over, and he chased after one of his enemies, determined to come out on top. The chase led him to a house that would soon become the site of his tragic end. As Lil Jeff approached, an unidentified figure emerged, weapon drawn, and unleashed a barrage of bullets. In a split second, a single shot found its mark, piercing Lil Jeff's heart and ending his life in an instant. News of the shooting spread rapidly, leaving a trail of shock and sorrow in its wake for Lil Jeff's family. The impact was devastating. His mother, already under scrutiny for her perceived support of his violent lifestyle, faced an overwhelming wave of criticism and blame. The loss of her son was compounded by the public backlash, leaving her to navigate a complex web of grief and guilt. Friends and fellow artists in the drill scene were also deeply affected by Lil Jeff's death. Many took to social media to express their sorrow and disbelief, sharing heartfelt tributes in the wake of Lil Jeff's untimely death. A flower of speculations and discussions emerged, centering on the factors that may have contributed to his tragic end. At the heart of these conversations was the notion of notoriety, a driving force in Lil Jeff's life and career in the world of drill music, where reputation often equates to respect and survival. Lil Jeff's desire to appear notorious was both a badge of honor and a dangerous gamble. The pursuit of street credibility had its consequences. However, in Lil Jeff's case, the more he leaned into his violent persona, the more enemies he made, and one of his most significant rivalries was with Trap City, a gang that became increasingly involved in his story. As the conflict between the two factions grew, initially, there were moments of neutrality. The relationship between the Bloodhounds and Trap City was not always contentious, with some members even claiming ties to both gangs. However, things began to sour over time, particularly after incidents like the death of Lil Jeff's cousin Z Money in 2023. Z Money's death, which was believed to have been a result of betrayal and gang rivalry, set off a chain of events that would only escalate the conflict. While authorities never fully solved Z Money's murder, rumor was quickly spread, and many believed it had ties to Trap City, sparking a deepened rivalry between the Bloodhounds and the opposing gang. As the rivalry intensified, another bombshell dropped. An interview with Trap City members revealed that the cause of the rift was a stolen chain.
Focus, man. Whoever started that, man, please stop doing stuff like that. Like, for real, this is like real life, you know? It's not no video game. It's not no movie, you know what I'm saying? It's reality.
This revelation was a tipping point for Lil Jeff, who quickly channeled his anger into his music. His lyrics became more pointed, more aggressive, less about the bravado, and more about real violence. But at that moment, despite the growing tension, Lil Jeff hadn't yet crossed the line from talk to action. The violence was still simmering beneath the surface. However, that simmering violence would soon boil over. Lil Jeff's cousin Q50, a fellow Bloodhound, was allegedly shot by members of Trap City. Though he survived the attack, this escalated matters further, and Lil Jeff was thrust deeper into a cycle of retaliatory violence that led to his death. Once his death was confirmed, including the man believed to be his killer, Trap City Rob, were seen in a viral video celebrating Lil Jeff's demise. As they took to the streets, after walking a short distance, the group arrives at the front porch of the house where Lil Jeff was actually murdered, and Trap City goes ahead to recreate how the rapper was killed, much to the amusement of the other gang members. Soon after, it was revealed that Trap City Rob was arrested in connection with Lil Jeff's murder. However, as the legal proceedings unfolded, the case against him began to fall apart. While video footage captured the chaos of the incident, it failed to definitively identify Trap City Rob as the shooter. Without conclusive evidence, he was released shortly after his arrest. Despite the release, the streets continue to believe Trap City Rob was responsible for Lil Jeff's death. The porch where Lil Jeff was killed is known to be a place Trap City Rob has been arrested multiple times before, further fueling speculation. Since the murder, Trap City Rob has not officially claimed responsibility for the crime, despite widespread speculation about his involvement. In an interview with DJV, when asked about the viral video and the attention surrounding the incident, Trap City Rob firmly denied any involvement.
Killing, but I like the energy. That's all I like to say. I never chased that real life.
Okay.
I ain't hard in real life. I'm in my environment, but I understand the overall.
In other interviews, Rob has gone on to criticize the violence often glorified in drill music, distancing himself from the culture. I like the killing, but I like the energy, though that's all I say. Never CHDR conscious, like I'm in my, but I understand overall, you know what I'm saying.